I'm guessing we're live. Okay. Welcome to the first pilot edition of Assorted Dice and their chaotic whatever this is. Alright, so we're going to go through some character introductions. We're going to start over there.
Alrighty. My name's Krullik Milner. I'm a fighter rogue. I am
Distracted.
Distracted. 5'2", brown, blonde hair, fairly long.
Wait, which one is it?
Brown skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, and
White dragon.
breastplate armor, and pants.
Thank goodness for the pants. Alright, moving on.
All right. So, I'm Kevin. I am a half-elf of average height. Pretty unremarkable appearance. Wearing full plate, a cloak. My face is normally completely covered. I am a fighter wizard hybrid.
I'm a half-orc. I didn't say that.
No, you didn't.
You also forgot to say your hybrid, but people will figure it out. I don't know. Next.
Alright. I play Karadin. He's a human, barbarian bard, gestalt. That's how you say that?
That is the word.
Yeah.
That is a word.
Yes, it is. He is middle-aged.
Ish.
Tall-ish.
Smart.
Auburn
Ish.
hair. Auburn hair and green eyes.
Alright. And I'm
Ruggedly handsome.
ruggedly handsome, right? I am
Everybody
else, yes. Of note, I am Faust, an elf ranger cleric, who is short and extremely pale, hair, skin, everything about him. I am Anna Ventalis, who is slightly taller, fighter, warlock thing. She's the most confusing.
And
then
confused.
And I am Taylor Jade, who is, when he's a guy, is around 5'10", when a girl around 5'4", and that will be explained for them. That is Bella.
She's our goblin.
She'll calm down. Or she'll be put downstairs. One of the two.
One of the two.
But that's pretty much everyone you kind of need to know about. Taylor's a paladin rogue. Gestalt. We're all around level 10. It's going to be real confusing. This is completely homebrew.
Yeah.
Do not be there upset like, you can't do that. I said they can, so deal with it. Or I say they can't, and you'll be like, well, they should be able to. Well, deal with it. I said they can't.
No questions.
No questions. But there's going to be a lot of questions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so where we just left off is the party has just entered a country named, well, not just, entered a country named Lechia about a month ago and has slowly burned their way down this countryside. Really messing with this country overall as a whole. Just we'll release something with the story this far. You can get some more of the details. I'm not going to go into it right now. It took me a full hour. Not doing it right now. And the party has gotten to this is where they met Taylor, and Taylor had a little story arc where he wanted to get revenge on the Cantilevers who had killed his family. They recently just fought the Cantilevers, where they found out the Cantilevers had been allied with a beholder. Managed to survive the encounter, sort of. Many of them offering a piece of their soul to their strange and enigmatic deity, to use the term, I guess closely related. All except for Kevin currently has done this and have gained some sort of boon towards this. However, they've also lost something. They all feel it. None of them know exactly what it is. Upon the defeat, they found all of the documents and such things they needed to prove the Cantilevers were doing bad things in the country. which is good given they are all sort of responsible for wiping out the royalty of this country as well. Mostly on Faust, the elf that I mentioned earlier. Since then, they have escaped the town, met up with their army of goblins that they have formed under the metal one, who is Kevin.
We have raised them.
They have
as our
found,
own.
when they approached the goblins, they had found out, who they used in a distraction, that 14 of their 65 original goblins that they had died. They all know their own special goblins that died.
Very sad.
And 53 of the 124 that they had recently saved had also died. So currently, their army of almost 200 goblins has dropped to just over 100. You know, making it much more reasonable, and that is sarcasm if you don't know. Easier for me. Okay. Where we are starting is the goblin encampment has moved north away from the city. They spent a day resting and moving. It is in the middle of the middle of the day directly after the king's assassination, the cantilever's destruction, and potential exposure. We are going to be starting pretty much in the middle of the day as they have finally managed to rest. They all having been exhausted, they just removed their point of exhaustion. And we're going to be starting kind of randomly because
That's how we roll.
we kind of, yeah, also we left it in a very odd moment. So, is there anything that anyone wanted to do specifically?
That is an action.
Okay.
I just wanted
that
to
is
do that.
that is an action. No, that is a year. But all right, because
All right.
as we left off, your plan right now was to head north an extra half day and then just start heading east. To the east is the Baranon, the Dwarven lands, and Rada, which is a mercenary country. You're heading towards one of those. Is there any change of plans or anything anyone wants to bring up before you just begin walking east?
The question is, do I have the thought?
Do you have your thought, Mr. 10 Intelligence?
Do I have my thought?
I'm gonna say no.
Nope. Because I rolled a 4.
However, this does involve one other character, and so I do need to make a roll for them.
My character might be an idiot, by the way.
Might be.
So this other
By the standards
character,
of everybody else.
Anna, please forgive any voice I attempt to do. It'll fail horribly. But Anna will bring up kind of as you're...
Maybe we just put her downstairs.
She'd
Yeah.
still-
She really hates him.
She really
She
does.
really hates him.
That's not who you think it is. I think he's already gone.
Jeremy is still here. He
Really?
went upstairs.
All right. Bella, leave him alone. Not my dog. Don't know why I'm ordering.
It's what we do.
Anna would kind of, as the group is going, slowly start to bring up the concept of, I just had a thought.
Oh yeah.
Before Faust wiped out the kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
you know, royalty, I was there under my family's name. That might not be good if I just disappear,
Yeah.
especially since he also was under my family name, pointing to Carradine.
Yeah, we probably should do something about that, right?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that good with politics. Should we do something about that? Or
We
just
just send a letter.
would disappearing into the wind be worth? I mean, they might think we're dead.
Yeah, but it might put them down in the history books as I don't know.
Well, it's either we're dead or we're traitors. Not really a good way for us to get out of this scot-free if we don't go back.
I mean, are we gonna go back?
I don't know. Are we going back?
I'm going back.
Okay.
I don't think we're going back.
Faust, do you want to? No, yeah, you wouldn't go back. Taylor? Yeah, okay, Taylor's not going back. Kevin?
Just give me a direction.
That's okay.
So I guess we don't do anything.
I guess we're gonna go east then.
Maybe send a letter.
I was gonna say, apparently we should write him a letter.
I guess technically, he did just disappear. We could say he dropped us off someplace. I guess.
Yeah. Got away, didn't want to risk going back into the city where you were kidnapped.
That's a good idea.
After months of hard,
Yeah, you'll write the letter.
Yeah.
days of
I'm not writing a letter.
days of. This is gonna be tricky.
If things get confusing, because again, I'm slightly too many characters, I will hold up a black marker for Faust,
Like
red
a soul,
for Anna,
like her hair.
and green for Taylor.
For her greed.
You might want to use that one. It's a little brighter.
Whatever. Green for Taylor. Also, his last name is Jade, so
Yeah.
yeah, unplanned. Just making this up as I go. But yeah, so for the most part, I don't know. That's dried peanut butter on this. Okay, sure. All right, so the party begins to go east.
Krellick approaches Carradine, trying to, I don't know, be subtle as he can be, which is, let's see,
Roll for subtlety.
an 11?
Flat?
No. After I take away 2.
Right. Because
Rolled a
charisma.
13.
You're as subtle as you can possibly be for the most part.
Right. I think I'm being really subtle.
There's a lot of goblins marching. You're
Yeah.
succeeding being fairly subtle.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. So Krellick's just going to come up to Carradine and be like,
Are you speaking in your head or are you speaking aloud? They all have a telepathic link.
I guess he'll just speak in his head, but he'll still approach him.
Okay. So you're walking side by side in silence.
Yep.
Okay.
And he's like, I have a weird question I wanted to ask you.
And what's that?
I have something that I want to do. And it means a lot to me. And it's not stealing anything or heisting another town or noble that I don't like.
Well, that's good. We're growing.
But
How much killing does it involve?
none, hopefully. I mean, ideally.
Oh, cool.
So, and it doesn't have to be right now. It's just my idea that I want to put in your head by putting it in your
Whoa.
head.
Yeah.
And
The
so
subtlety's not lost on me.
I want to adopt a child.
What? We already have 100 and some odd of them.
Those aren't my kids.
Why are you
Dublin
bringing
cries
up me?
sadly in the corner somewhere. He doesn't know why.
In his head, has no clue. Just breaks down, starts sobbing.
As he's
that
being
would be
wheeled through the forest because his legs are broken.
Little Timmy.
So what brought this up all of a sudden?
I mean, I died twice.
And now you want to adopt a kid?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I mean, not right now, of course. But
Maybe when you settle down.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But, I mean, look at me. I'm going to need someone that knows how to talk, like you.
That's true.
And so, that's what I'm
Unless,
trying
of
to
course,
put in
you
your
like
head.
steal an orphan from the street. I don't think they'd mind.
Okay, I'm not just going to pick up a random kid off the street.
It'd be funny, though.
Well,
I mean, like those kids that you picked up in the,
yeah, but I didn't like those kids.
All of a sudden, Annika just kind of starts walking over. He goes, I'm confused, but Faust just walked over to me and said Krellick is trying to steal my man? And I don't know what's going on.
I'm not trying to steal your man.
No,
I'm trying to use Carradine to help me adopt a kid someday. I need
get it
him.
either.
I need his skills of talking.
You are a fine man, and I'm sure one day that will work out very well for you.
Thank you.
In the meantime, I'm going to go back over there.
Yeah, cool. You don't have to worry about me.
She walks away.
In terms of stealing Keratin. I mean, I did stab you earlier, and I'm
She's
sorry
gone.
about that, so... I'm just speaking in her head now.
She's still walking away.
Use your fingers.
Speaking in her head now.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, it is. So, that's all I wanted to say.
Meanwhile, Doblin apparently is being very, very cozied up to Kevin, walking around, talking in the glorious battle that they fought on the Metal One's behalf.
Very true.
I'll go and talk to my sect of goblins as we're walking.
Yep, and I will go over to Dublin. Try and give him a bit of a pep talk and stuff.
It's a Douglas dream now.
The goblins honestly are. They believe they've just fought a glorious battle for their deities. They really are doing. They're pretty good spirits.
No, I know, but his injuries and stuff, I just...
Dublin, you see him again, and he's looking at you, and he goes, "I did it. I finally managed. I gave for the tribe." And then he falls back asleep because he really is like bleeding internally pretty badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Faust has been giving care occasionally. His group of goblins as well.
Yeah,
But Dublin got hurt pretty bad.
right. I'm talking to my other goblins as well, just like trying to tell them to keep on doing their training and stuff like that. And so,
You want to roll for?
no, I don't.
You're gonna have to. So are you.
Roll for inspiration.
Roll a charisma check. How well do you check your goblins?
I don't at all. It's like,
Kevin,
yeah,
you
hit
can
the
roll with
stuff
advantage.
with your things and fight better.
I said Kevin, but sure.
Okay.
Kevin, you can roll with advantage because
I'm rolling with advantage
Dublin
then.
basically is your
I'm taking
like
that.
yes man. Like,
-1 if it existed.
the goblins kind of look at you and go, "Oh wait," because you normally just talk to Dublin, and so they're like, and they're more just shocked and they're not really listening to what you say.
Yeah. I'm like, I like you guys too. A lot.
Your goblins start doing their little tap dance as they march.
Haka.
The haka.
Yeah, the haka. All
But
right.
yeah. So I'm just like, as well as I can, but I don't do it well, but I'm just like, try and tell them that they did a good job and all that stuff. So,
And you try.
yep, and fail.
Mm-hmm.
Miserably.
The important thing is you tried.
And I swing by.
Good job!
Yeah, so they just runs through the savanna grass. You just hear this like beating, like storm of goblins around.
I start leading the. I lead the
She's giving you guys
barbarians
good luck by licking
on
them.
a
She gave you guys good luck by licking them.
a lap around all of
Hopefully.
the goblins.
Running laps around the marching goblins.
Hey.
So as you
Hmm?
you begin to march east, as we're all distracted by the person behind the camera. You begin marching east, and you end up. This takes most of the day. You find another place at the edge of the savannah to camp down once again for an evening. The goblins, as you have trained to do, set up a camp that is beyond their expectations, but still quite under yours.
It's usually how it goes.
But it's manageable, unless one of you would like to do anything additional to it.
For what?
As they set up the camp.
I'll set up my own place among my tribe.
Your tribe tends to not have places.
Exactly.
They tend to just sleep wherever.
I can try and help
Just pass
in
out.
some way.
Sure.
No, I don't.
Your tribe is so confused why you're actually bothering with them recently. Like, you normally have only ever talked to Dublin, and they're real confused by this recently. This recent shift in the Sewer Lord is really odd. That is a story for another time. But yeah, and just like every other night when you're traveling with a horde of 100 goblins, nothing bothers to try to attack you.
Right. Because...
Yeah, most animals aren't that dumb. You spilled all your dice, and now you gotta put them away.
Yep.
All right.
That's about it.
I assume that in the next morning you continue your path northeast. It is another hot day. You are mostly all from climates more to the north. You are currently sitting on the equator in what has become midsummer.
Okay.
Kevin, you are really having a hard time in that
Yeah.
heavy armor.
I imagine so. Absolutely.
The
Just
next.
because it's black armor too, right?
Mm-hmm. He switched to an ebony mail recently. Yeah, no. Kevin is.
I
You're
felt
struggling the
that.
most.
Just breaches.
Just preaches. Yeah. Actually, ironically, the rest of these three are the most okay. Followed most by you next.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hot. The goblins are hot. It is not a good smell as 100 goblins march across the equator.
And it smells pretty crappy.
Let me just put it this way: goblins are not known for hygiene, and these ones have not exactly been taught by you guys. So
Well, there are no streams around, so.
So
I'm walking behind my goblins.
so as you downwind, the wind is blowing from the east through the mountain passes of the Baranon. The mountain range ahead of you is massive. It throws off your sense of time during the morning as the sun rises. That you don't see it until well into the early part of the day. And as you have crossed past the area of the savannah, and you know that you're actually pretty good out of the reach of the capital now, you start approaching the mountains when in the distance you begin to see what looks like movement along the horizon. The savanna grass has dropped. It's now much more fields, like English countryside, a little bit of rolling hills, short grass. And I want everyone just to roll me a perception, just to see if they can make out anything on that.
18.
15.
15, 15,
17.
17. I'm not going to even bother to saying what Faust is. Who rolled over a 15? Did anyone get over a 20? Okay. So over a 15, what happens is, as you look out into the distance, it's definitely forced movement. It's not like trees blowing in the wind. It's definitely, it looks like people. And it looks like potentially someone moving along a road. You guys aren't traveling on the roads. It looks like that might be the nearest roadway coming from the northeast heading towards the capital. So you know that a road will soon probably be passing sometime in front of you.
Can we not see how quickly?
No.
Okay.
Totally forgot there was a dog there. Hi. You are special.
Faust will let you know that it does appear that there are several men on horseback traveling the road.
Okay.
He did roll high enough,
Yeah.
because, yeah,
When doesn't he?
right.
What can your elf eyes see? Do you see anything discerning about them?
We're on horseback.
Honestly, at this distance, the best he can see is that they appear to be riding, and he assumes horses, because out here there's nothing that crazy besides that.
So boring.
Yeah, and hot. Gosh dang it. I'm gonna finish all of those. But okay, so you find a place. Unless do you wish to march towards the road during the evening, or once evening comes, do you plan to make camp?
I figure we probably just make camp.
What's up?
Pass the empty glasses to Garrett.
Okay.
Sweet.
Thank you.
But so you plan to spend the night away from the road?
I would say so. Wait.
Their vote doesn't count anymore. Carradine says
No,
yes.
we have three
so
identical glasses. That's what we're trying to figure out.
She
No, just
takes
pass
one at
them.
a time.
Yeah.
Right.
Use that 18 intelligence to just remember. But yeah, so you guys decide to camp out. Still a couple hours from the road. You make quite the spectacle.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like you can hide with over 100 of you, and the dog is now here.
Am my carry-ons mummified yet?
Do you check?
I mean, I'm not intentionally looking for them to be.
But do you like check their status just in the bag?
Sure.
So
Back, Nebby.
you kind of just reach in and go, and as you're like reaching in, like what you expect to find like soft tissue, you are finding like a kind of rough, wrinkled skin instead.
Okay.
But that's about as far as they've gotten thus far.
Okay.
It has only been a couple days.
Fair enough.
They're not quite jerky yet.
Sweet. All right.
They're just tough enough.
Right. All right. And again, the night passes pretty peacefully. Again, you know that this country is fairly sparse on any wildlife in the first place due to the...
Do our goblins do anything stupid?
Your goblins do anything stupid? Of course.
Yeah.
Do they do anything out of the realm of the known stupidity? No.
Okay.
The one goblin that's still alive that liked to get caught in the traps somehow is still alive and still likes getting caught in the traps. And he still is the joker of the group.
I love him.
I believe that was Caspian, actually.
Was it your goblin?
Makes
That
sense.
is his goblin.
Nice.
Yes, some of them have named all of the goblins.
I have.
And I have to keep track of all of that. But yeah, so you camp through the night once again. Again, it's a peaceful night. It's surprising. After the last few days of what you guys have had to do, it's been weird to not be woken up by, someone dying
Right.
or with the expectations of killing and with several goblins. Sometimes just you wake up and suddenly just several of them are huddled around you. Mostly you wake up because of the smell. However, the next day, as you march towards the road, you come to an area of the road where there's the road that heads to the northeast. There is a rougher road that heads to the southeast, and then there's one that heads backwards, west, mostly west, but slightly south. Basic geography isn't too hard for most of you. You might
for
need to
me.
roll.
Say,
Otherwise,
what's geography?
otherwise, you guys can get a pretty good bearing of where these roads are going. Do you head towards the puppers on the table? All right.
She exists. She's fine.
She exists.
Well, the dog's been tabled for the discussion.
Just don't put a pin in her. Which way do you hold? Which way do you head? Hold. Which way do you head?
We got
I
it.
say we go east.
There are two roads heading east.
One going more north than the other.
There's one heading northeast, one heading southeast.
So the north will go to the Baron on.
I want to go to the Baron.
Why do you want to go to
Dwarves are pretty cool, and they're my height. So
the Had a good experience.
So both Anna and Faust chime in and goes, the mountain pass is unpassable except to the south.
so we go that way.
As you both kind of start pointing to the north, and they go, that's just going to lead further into Lechia.
Yeah, no. Hey, southeast. No.
Distractions. Everyone
Jeremy.
say goodbye.
Bye.
To the beach.
He gets to enjoy the heat. Bella.
Hey.
Do we need to table the dog again?
I mean, she's already tabled.
She's going to drink out of your glass at some point.
It's gonna be funny.
Okay. No, what'll be funny is if she does it and only they see it, and then you drink out of the glass.
Oh yeah.
So don't look at your glass ever again.
Yeah. You know what? She's just going to do her thing. We're just going to keep going.
She's like a cat.
She's like worse than a cat. But okay. So after you both have decided to slowly start to maybe head to the north, you're corrected in just the basic understanding of the geography of this country to remind you that going south is, if you want to go to the Baranon or the
This
Rada,
south
you're going to
is
want to go
have
south.
be the way. Yep.
Right.
Then we go that way.
So, you take all of your goblins and you start marching down the road to the southeast. About 2 hours down the road, everyone, what's passive perception? I don't know why I'm bothering asking, because I think only one of you has enough for this.
Yeah.
That's a no.
I think I just have an 11. So it's just
10 plus your perception.
plus my perception or plus my wisdom?
Perception.
Oh, 15.
15.
15.
15. Anna has a 15. Faust has a 25.
I got a 10.
And
You're awful.
Taylor has an 11, so you're in terrible company. So the 15s, you guys, you notice that there's no people on the road.
Right.
It's Faust who, at one point, perks up and goes, I hear horses? And the 15, so you two
Slash
plus Anna,
coconuts.
you two plus Anna kind of perk up and can just barely hear it in the distance. You and Taylor hear nothing.
What?
Coconuts.
And Faust is like, there's horses coming from behind us.
Quickly?
Horses tend to move quickly, yeah.
I wasn't sure if they're going at a leisurely pace or at a...
No. I mean, he looks back and he has to look over the train of goblins. But off in the distance, some of you can see what looks to be quite a few. You can't make out a number, but there's dust being kicked up. The sun blurs it, but you can see what looks to be at least 10 to 15 horses.
Too far away to roll a perception check?
Roll.
Shut my
10.
goblins off.
The dust,
Yeah.
the dust is just a little high for you. You start to just shuffle your goblins off, not bothering about it. Once you start doing that, Anna starts also moving away. Faust orders his goblins off, and slowly everyone is just getting their goblins off. The thing is, unfortunately, this isn't the savannah where the goblins can hide. As you're moving them off, it's just grass.
Yeah. It's like moving kids in a...
You've moved them off the road,
yeah.
but unfortunately they are out there.
Yeah.
This is not a place that you can hide. This is a place you can run or you can stand.
Yep.
And right now, they're standing.
Strip down and lay on the grass.
No.
I know, I'm kidding.
Gross.
You kidding?
They're green, that's why I was like, grass.
The horses charge forward, and probably as none of you want, as they come, you find some split off. And they begin to circle.
Come on.
And there's more than you even expected, as 20, 30, 40,
Awesome.
50, and they just circle, and they pace, and they're circling you in two different directions.
Really?
Some of them are in armor, some of them are not. You see halberds, lances, swords, rapiers, bows. There doesn't seem to be any real rhyme or reason.
Race?
Humans.
Humans.
And a few half elves. You see one dwarf.
like
In a
him.
blur
I like them.
around it. Make a
didn't like
perception
dwarves.
check.
I love dwarves.
You and Anna
am
are
one.
going to make a perception check.
Ha! Nope. Roll the 1.
Wait, that was just for you two? Okay, sorry.
You wouldn't have this knowledge.
No, yeah.
Well, no, I will actually. I'll let you guys will roll it. Roll the perception.
17.
Yeah, technically we gave them pictures.
9.
9. You, Faust and Anna, see a crest on the horses and on a few of the. What the crest is, it's a bear standing over a hare, so a rabbit,
Yeah. This one.
on a brown and gray blue iron sigil.
Okay.
And they're circling. That's what you kind of see. For those who spotted it, you can make an intelligence check to see if you remember Carradin's description of this. You will roll at disadvantage if you do not have proficiency in history.
Ah.
You have proficiency in history?
Yep.
Then you can roll flat.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Okay. You remember, this is the crest of Duke Gulcuddy. He is the eccentric recluse, and I'll give you as much, because, of course, nat 20. He lives in the east of the mountains. His estate is the closest to the Baranon, and he is known as the Border Guard. His household is basically all of this flat grassland that you see.
I pass this information on to Kevin
How?
in my head.
In your head. Just to Kevin?
And Faust, but I figure Faust already knows it, and Anna gave this to me. I'll give it to Taylor, but Taylor knows this as well, I feel like.
It bounces around. All
Yeah.
of you kind of just...
Yeah.
But by the time they slowly start to stop, and they do eventually kind of rotate to a stop, having circled up your goblins, because your goblins very naturally kind of circled up instead of being trampled.
Yeah.
Whether or not where you guys are standing, I'm assuming on the outskirts, unless you want to be in the center of the goblins.
Right.
Hey.
And as they circle up, you see three, one much older, two somewhat old, human males kind of approach on horseback. And the oldest of the two younger, sorry. So the middle aged, not middle aged, but yeah, whatever. It looks like a father and two sons, I'll just put it that way. The older son speaks out first. Eh, what you doing marching goblins through our land? Don't you know? We're looking for goblins. Apparently they killed a bunch of people outside of the capital. Might have hand to hand in the king's death too.
Alright, guys. This is the fun part. What are we gonna do?
So as you're doing that, the oldest gentleman, everyone else is kind of just scanning the goblins, scanning all of you.
That was
Actually,
the dwarf that spoke up?
no. Older, second oldest son.
Okay.
All three of you roll perception.
Who?
Three of you.
Oh, three of us.
17.
They put you away?
17.
8.
3.
So no one else really notices this except for you and Faust. The older gentleman, Faust doesn't have his helmet on. The old gentleman is staring at Faust.
Oh, gosh.
His helmet's kind of sitting in the royal dais area.
Every time. I just say that out of my head.
You say this, none of you know what he's referring to.
Just say, the old guy's looking at Faust.
So,
That's what I say.
and Faust doesn't respond. They seem to be having a staring contest. But the older son goes, "What, you have no defense for yourself?" My accent's gonna fade so weirdly.
Taylor? Anything?
Taylor seems a bit subdued at the moment.
No one's speaking up, I will. That's just what Krollik says.
I'm thinking, hold on.
Taylor has kind
Okay.
of moved away from kind of the rest of you towards the other side, and seems to be
In a different universe kind of thing?
sort of, yes.
Yeah, the
Different plane
goblins
of
were definitely in
existence.
the killing of folks, but not the good kind of folks. Have you heard what's been happening in the capital?
All I'm hearing is goblin killing humans. I don't really hear good or bad here.
Alright, you might want to check your facts. 'Cause
All I know is, and he kind of slaps the side of his saddle with his sword, and it's like, all I know is, you're walking through with goblins, and there is orders to slay any goblins we see marching on any lands. And you see all the horses kind of rear up.
how many of them are there?
53. They start to move in.
Right. Do you know who the cantilevers are?
Roll a whatever you want to roll to see if you can get attention. call it deception, persuasion, intimidation.
Intimidation. 12.
You call out, but the horses are just kind of moving in.
Call out again.
Call out again, but again, you're kind of just like, you know what the cantilevers are? The cantilevers! And they're just kind of all moving in, just like...
Hey, Taylor, we could really use your help right now. If you want to
Do we
wake
use
up.
the Ventalis name? I ask Anna.
Oh, that is...
They come closer, and she goes, you know what, screw it. Yeah. Because as you see, she's kind of moved off to the other side with Taylor. Cause the four of you with Faust are all on one side. The horses have really bore down on the other other sides of the circle.
Mm-hmm.
So Anna and Taylor are currently the
Yeah,
only thing
outside of it.
in between them, the goblins and the horses right now.
Oh, cool.
So they're both not in this conversation. But she goes, yeah, do it as the horses, as lances are starting to come closer.
Oh, shoot. My brain. Come on. Think of something.
As the horses approach, Faust speaks out and seems to direct this at the older gentleman. He calls out. It's a low call out, but he goes, "You seem to have a problem with me. Speak it." Tries to get the older man's attention. And the horses bear down for a couple seconds more before the old gentleman goes, "I think I know you, elf." And all the horses kind of stop for a moment. Vasquez? Probably. My name is Faust. And for a couple of the people on the horses, there's a sudden shift to focus. Not all of them, not all of them know what's going on, but a few of the horses all shift their focus all of a sudden to
Those are some really smart horses.
not the horses, horsemen. Horsemen shift over. Their focus is now towards this conversation that's happening. The two younger with the older man kind of look over to him and look back. There's like a moment of thought, and the younger one seems to peek and go, wait, is this bad? And seems to think, shouldn't this... And he holds... We got news that you were back. That you killed the king. And his family. Yeah?
Great.
Well,
You guys know if Faust starts talking, it's going to go bad. I don't know why you guys let it do it, but alright.
honestly, it's probably the only good outcome in the situation.
No, it's not.
There was suddenly a roar of outrage from several of the horsemen. There's
We're just trying to get...
the horses themselves are kind of like thrown by suddenly this change in demeanor from their riders, and one of the older sons seems to have a look of excitement and yet worry all at once on his face.
Throne's free.
What is that?
I said, throne's free.
That's what you said?
Pretty much.
So as you call out, "Thrones free," and wave your hand in the air, the older gentleman
Maybe you'll be less correct than the king is his viziers.
oh no, I care not for that stupid throne that they fought over.
Mm. Good.
But you killed that blighted man. I'm half tempted to let you walk free because of that.
We're just traveling south. We're not trying to stir up trouble with you guys.
Yeah, but you're traveling through my land. And I can't have assassins and goblins just travel through my lands.
Tell us a different route and we'll go that way. Picking up your accent.
You are. My terrible accent, yeah.
That's what bards do, right?
It's just because I know I can do it better.
He goes, I got an idea for you.
All ears.
And he looks to both of the guys next to him and goes, you both have been waging wars with your brothers, trying to become my next heir. You both look slightly ashamed, but they don't deny it. Give you your honor. One of you gonna fight him. Gestures towards Faust.
That's a bad idea.
Nope.
It's like, and one of you got a deal for you. One of you champion your goblins. You defeat my son, goblins never existed. My son defeats you, and they all lie down on the ground and their heads are removed one at a time.
Looks like a long time.
We have 50 men.
I
It'll
say
only
in our
be two.
heads, I say in our heads, I say, I'm gonna die before I let any one of my goblins die or fight, and I will fight him. Before.
You've died twice.
I know. I'll die again.
Anna goes,
I bet you some of our goblins could take these guys.
Honestly, yes.
Well,
But we're not gonna
I'd
do
like
that.
to size up the one that's gonna fight the goblins.
as you start to size up, Faust goes, I'll fight. And he goes, good. And then he goes, and he gestures toward the older son with that. And he goes, the younger son is like, you size him up?
Yep.
Roll it insight.
Rolling inside, awesome.
I'm great at this. 17.
Well,
Okay.
I only roll flat.
This is someone that he's younger than you by a tad, but not by much, and is what he might be called the younger son, and he seems to have shown a slight more intelligence than the older one. He looks like he's seen some battles. The father had mentioned they had been fighting, and it looks like it's a personal fight. He wears his armor and his weapon very, very well. He seems very confident on horseback. Although, from the insinuation, it seems to be a ground combat kind of thing.
That's good.
But he does not look like he'll be a pushover in any means. He doesn't strike you the same kind of competence as one of the cantilevers, but or potentially Ichabod. But he does strike you more similarly to like the Royal Guard, a little bit above that potentially.
Oof. Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
Like, so do we send a fighter? Do we send a rogue? Do we send a barbarian? Do we send a ranger?
Well, I think they're gonna get.
In your
killed
head, you
anyway.
hear Taylor go, "Not it." Faust goes, "I'm spoken for."
Do we try and change the deal that?
I mean, what?
As you guys are all kind of talking in your head, you can keep talking. The Bella did something. Well, speaking of, Doblin approaches you and taps at your back of your leg.
Hold on, hold on.
No.
Metal One, are you not going to champion for us?
I was considering it.
Oh wait, so I have to champion for my goblin?
No, it's as a goblins as a whole.
Yeah.
It was pick a champion. It could be one of you, it could be the goblins, just anybody.
Okay. Didn't understand
I'll
that.
go.
Sorry. No, he was referencing you three.
Yeah.
In front. He was saying champion of your amongst yourselves.
All right. So it's one of you two.
I'll do it.
We all know how well I do in combat.
But
Well, you
yeah.
get surrounded half the time.
That's true.
This is a one-on-one stand-up fight.
Like, unless you want to do this, I'll do it.
Don't pee, Bella.
Just please don't.
You should be fine. I mean, I could probably take him. It would
I know
it
either
would-
one of us could take him.
It would take longer though.
I thought he was saying to send one of the goblins.
Yeah, one of the goblins.
And that's what I
it
was confused about.
It was an option.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, we're not sending a goblin. I will do this wholeheartedly.
No, we're not
happily.
sending a goblin. No. But Doblin wants me to do it. But
Do you want to do it?
He goes, Are none of you confident enough?
I'll do it.
Sorry, correct me. You're at half elf.
Yeah.
Do you take your helmet off, or is it still
No, it's staying on.
staying? So yeah, through the
What's your strength?
It's +3.
Oh, I kind of wanted to do this.
speak out more then.
No, it's okay.
So he goes, good. He goes,
How do you feel about magic?
if that's what you got, use it. My sons know how to deal. Otherwise, they'll die. And then you see both of them kind of look at him like shocked for a
so
moment.
brutally. That's great.
And then they kind of like dehorse and he backs up.
Just knock him out.
And then you
I'll
see
try.
the horses.
I only have lethal.
So the horses continue to be circled around you all. Except some of them fan out and create a smaller circle. Large enough area for Kevin, for you to have your own personal dual area, and Faust to have his.
I see. I see.
So, for the sake of some visuals that sadly the camera's not
Sorry.
going to see, sorry, we'll get a doggo.
We might try to get an aerial cam at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is not going to be visible really at all.
Yeah, you're gonna want to take her off the table for this. She's gonna try and like the markers and stuff.
You goober.
Yummy markers.
The horses, I can't reach all the way over there, basically circles around all the way to the edge there. And they've created a somewhat smaller circle. Here, you and Krolik are both here, where you can still see.
Yeah.
And they've basically, the older gentleman's back here, and they've created a small area basically in both these sections for each of you. You have a good amount of room, but it's...
Where are the goblins?
back.
Back?
They've started congregating to behind you more. That
Okay,
circle
good.
of fear has more come where there are some sitting on each other's shoulders. They are trying to watch this.
I bring them up to where I am at if I can.
I start. Yeah.
You start a chant. Right.
And I bring my goblins at least up near me, as well as I kind of gesture for Kevin's to come up to watch.
Alright. So as you start this chant, we're not going to worry about too much about motions and pieces. The truth is, you'll never be able to move far enough away that someone's not going to be able to move
Yeah.
to you in
As
that
I'm
turn.
getting ready
So,
to duel, I
13 to try and join into the chant with him.
Give me 1 second.
as I get ready to duel, I withdraw 10 gold from my pouch.
The older, the one you're dueling off, the younger one goes, "It's not you're wagering your life, not your gold."
I'm aware.
Seems confused.
So, am I within, I believe, 30 feet?
You are within, but real quick, also, give me a performance check, because this is for you and your goblins. Like, how well do you lead them, and then if
13
yours
to
is,
join in.
if yours is hot, we'll see how much yours is related to his.
I know.
Yeah. Hold on. I just want to check it. Bardic Inspiration, 60 feet. Awesome.
Yeah, the
Because I'm going to be giving Bardic Inspiration to everybody.
That's fine.
That's a 14 performance.
Yep.
Right? 14, 26.
You do it exactly half as good. Over on that side, yours has his banter. Over on this side,
Where is Kevin?
those two dots. Oh, Kevin is going to be the one over on this side. So he's
Oh.
standing right here currently, and Faust is over here.
Gotcha.
So in other words, I'm hoping that my goblins will kind of get smart enough, at least the bard ones, to give inspiration to.
We'll check some rolls in a second to see if that happens. But before the fight kicks off, as this all kind of goes around, your chant has now started the riders having a chant, which is overriding some of your lesser volumed goblins.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kind of a ruckus happening here now,
Yep.
real spectacle style. And the one in front of Faust kind of starts taunting him, pulls out a two-handed greatsword, and goes, "You gonna fight with a bow?" split it for you. And Faust kind of looks at it and goes. He takes his bow off, walks back over, and hands it to you,
Yep.
and then walks back over.
Yep.
Oh.
And he stands unarmed.
Yep. We all know what he has.
1 second. All right. So let me pull this up. Okay. So, as it's chanting, he comes back,
Oh my gosh.
and the older gentleman just goes, "Begin initiatives."
First one. Actually.
19.
Yeah, first one go to Faust.
1 second. So you rolled a 19.
Well, 18 with plus 1.
19. It's okay. Faust has a 23.
Do you want me to roll an initiative?
They're both 9s. So basically, it'll be Faust goes first. You'll react second. They both react at the same time against you.
Do you want me to roll an initiative?
Yes.
Since I'm actually participating. So that's a 12.
14.
14.
So technically, you're in between the two of them, and so starts off immediately, and you see Faust lift a hand, and then he slowly strolls forward.
I cast Inmate Object on my 10 gold.
And all the 10 golds only just fly out of your hand like wasps.
Little golden wasps.
Do they get to go right this second? If you don't know this spell and you've never used it, you really don't know what you're missing out for some of the stupidity it can do. To give an example, gold coins count as tiny objects. You animate an object, you can choose up to 10, hence his 10 gold, that are not being worn. It says or carry, but realistically he can let them up and do it. Tiny gives you a plus 8 to hit. It's a 1d4 plus 4 damage, and has an 18 AC. And then it says, as a bonus action, you can mentally command any creature you made, so each one of these tiny things. If you're within 500 feet of them, you decide what action the creature will take and where it will move during its next turn. So, roll an initiative for them.
All right. What is their dex?
Plus 4.
19.
So they technically, we'll have them go. I prefer them. I don't like rolling initiative where somehow they rolled high, so they're later because they're above you. No, they'll hit right then where they are in initiative, and so you can, as a bonus action, tell them where they can move
Move or attack.
or attack. Yeah. You can also create general ARDs.
I'm gonna give
orders.
giving them a general command of attack him.
Okay.
That whoever
So-
the guy's in front of me is.
So immediately you see the 10 coins kind of pop out, and you say attack, and the 10 fly out towards him. And they kind of get towards him, but they can't do anything quite this turn. But you see him immediately go, oh! And he just starts batting at these things. He has a sword and a shield, and he just starts, and he takes a couple attacks at them. But they are, it's a man batting at a swarm of bees with a sword. It's
Yeah.
not working. And this golden swarm just starts kind of surrounding him, and his turn is taken. On the other side of the field, the man doesn't move.
Nope.
And the father kind of looks between as Faust slowly approaches, and he pulls out that dagger,
Yep.
and he comes up, and he's gonna take his attack with.
He also has a D10 that he can add to
He doesn't need it, and
anything
he
wants.
takes out the Manslayer dagger. And it's an automatic crit because he's held, if you didn't quite catch that.
Kind of messed up.
Just a bit.
And Faust does 48 damage on his first hit. And he stabs him, leaves it in, and then pulls out that rapier that you all saw him pick up recently. And on the second hit, it really doesn't matter. Let's see. He hits, it's a crit. And he doesn't pull his punch. He sinks the rapier in. And then you see the man standing with a dagger in his throat and a rapier through his stomach. And he looks over to you. It's your turn.
Yep.
You
Still giving him the command.
Go Faust!
Mine?
Go Kevin!
I'm sorry. Yes, you can.
You can do it!
You also now have an inspiration.
I just do it without
To my-
inspiration.
As a
Do
bonus,
my coins have an inspiration?
no,
I'm not
'cause they're not.
inspiring.
They're not living.
So as a bonus
yeah.
action, you can tell them to attack,
Yep.
which they will do. But
Yeah.
you still have your
Yeah.
action, move action. You do have a concentration spell going.
Yeah.
And you can also roll the d10 on one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Yep. Realistically, I'm just gonna hold and. Can you prepare an action against an attack in this?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah.
What do you prepare?
Just gonna prepare a basic
Basic attack.
attack.
So you prepare to attack if he approaches.
Yeah.
All right. Next is the coins.
Okay, that's
I believe they have a +4 to hit,
+8.
+8 to hit. Yes, because for some reason Tiny gets the +8.
D4s.
Well, you need D20s. You have 10 D20s you have to roll.
Okay, well, wait. Oh yeah, for attack stuff.
Each one, yep. As this swarm of golden coins slowly start to spin around this man,
I have.
each
6
one
right
of
now,
them
So-
dart
7,
into
8.
him,
2 more.
attempting to tear and rip at the exposed skin underneath the armor.
That one.
It's a rather gruesome spell when used this way.
That one.
They have a +8.
One of them doesn't hit.
Oh, several of them don't actually.
+8.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's under a 10 do you have there?
Under a 10.
Yep.
These. Oh.
Anything under a 10 automatically misses.
Well, nothing. The one would be under a 10.
No.
No. Under a 10 on the dice.
Oh, dice. Okay.
Guys.
This one. That
Move
one.
them to the
4 of
side.
them, so 3 of them hit.
Nope. That's 3 missed, 4 missed. I see a 4 and a 5. 5 miss.
3 hit.
Uh,
4
that
hit.
5.
That 5.
That
takes
5
off.
misses. So, and those, those all hit. So you have 44
Yep.
+1 for each. Or, is it +1?
No, it's +4.
+4, right. So it's 44 plus, 16? And that is 2, 4, 5, 6 plus 16. That is 22. As these coins, as several of the coins dart past and he blocks them with shield or dodges out of the way, but several of them
This one of yours.
clip his face, clip his arms, and these streaks of blood erupt as these coins just tear at pieces of his exposed skin. On their turn,
Yeah. No. Continue to hit them.
in a fury of he has no idea what's happening, he charges you. As he rushes you and he goes to attack, you do get your attack on him, so you both basically swing at each other.
Yep.
Use your reaction.
Yeah, I hit. 15 + 7.
He hits you with a nat 20.
Sick. Okay.
So, you can roll your damage.
All right. 1d +4. Is that a d8?
Yep.
Okay. 7. Yeah.
He takes 7 and you take 17.
Okay.
And then he will take his second strike at you.
All right.
Carradine, would you like to see my roll?
What the heck?
You just
That is
rolled
another natural 20.
Yep, that's 2
What's
nat
wrong
20s
with
in a
you?
row. This happens quite often, especially against me. So apparently it's rubbing off on Kevin.
Apparently.
And that's another 17 damage.
Jeez, alright, fine.
As he takes his second swing at you just furiously.
I bet.
So yeah, 34 damage. And then he's gonna second wind.
Wow.
So takes off. He heals the 7 plus a little bit that you just dealt him.
Yeah.
Then it's Faust's turn. Faust pulls his weapons, dismisses his spell, and then watches as this man falls, never having moved, never having got to do anything. He is out of initiative.
Yes. Just a bit.
Great
What
job,
does that
Faust.
do to the crowd?
It was really confusing to them at first. There was a lot of chanting. Your guys have been chanting. There's a hush that has fallen.
I think he lost.
Well, the thing is, it was. Remember, this happens within 12 seconds.
Yeah.
They have no idea how this happened. All of a sudden, Faust is just unarmed again, weapon sheathed, and the man is dead.
He was good at his job before.
The horseman closest to you does rear back an extra couple feet from you and him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still continuing to chant.
And you still continue to chant the inspiration.
I'm
has
still
been
doing
given.
it half as
I
good.
can't give it any
Yep.
more inspiration.
So, it is your turn.
Yep. Gonna second wind as well.
As a bonus action. Alright.
Yeah, what is that again?
D10 plus fighter level. That's 10 plus 10. So that's
20 hit
20.
points. Alright.
Goodbye, natural crits.
Yeah, no. Don't do
Well,
that again.
don't
14
don't
are
do that
still-
again.
I've been stuck in a corner with.
By the way,
days.
if you think that somehow I do this as a player, no, my rolls hate me. Only as a DM do my dice actively try to kill people.
You suck at Monopoly.
He's not wrong.
He's actually pretty good at Monopoly.
No, I'm good at manipulating people at Monopoly. I don't know if that was caught, but that was the saddest whimper from a dog.
Would it be manipulated?
Manipulate. But okay, so that was your bonus action. You still have your move, and
Yep. These guys still have the attack command.
they do. Which
So-
next? So they can only take the one action per, so they'll be moving
Yep.
to you next turn. But you have you still have your attack action.
True.
You still have spells. And he's just sitting there roaring into your face.
Yeah.
The bees!
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage style. He is unaware that his brother is currently slain, like 30
Yeah,
feet
you
away from
can't
him.
really focus on that.
No.
You know?
Is he raging?
No. He is a fighter.
Oh, he's a fighter.
He's second winded. It's only a fighter
know.
thing.
What is he armed with?
Sword and shield. You two are actually pretty equally armored and armed.
Fly.
On him?
Me.
Okay.
Why? Yes, on him. Why?
So you cast fly.
On myself.
Alright. Do you move?
Up.
You fly up. He gets his attack. No.
Even if he did, I had.
He rolls 20 to hit. So I believe he misses.
He absolutely misses. Yeah.
He misses. This party's AC is a little crazy.
It is.
Well, their AC is crazy.
Okay.
10 can.
So you fly how far up?
About 30 feet up.
So you fly up, and then as he like swings and goes, all of a sudden his vision just as the coin starts surrounding him again, he's like, and you see him just kind of start turning, and then like he starts to, and then his turn comes around because they get over there. And he's turning, he's looking around, and then he kind of sees his vision kind of falls to his brother, and he's like, Oh, and he's like, I surrender. He's like,
What a pansy.
Honestly, I am inclined to oblige him with that.
is that what you're saying?
I don't. Yeah, pretty much. Like, I asked the crowd, like, what do you think? And
Kill him! The goblins are all like, food.
I literally
Wash
literally
that.
as they start doing that, you'll get like a shock of emotion from Kevin. Just, no.
Yeah, as all three of you just yell, no! And the horsemen all look to the father. The father goes, this is a fight to the death. No son of mine surrenders.
Well,
It's your turn again.
gonna honor his request. I'm neutral. So next turn comes around, these coins are still gonna attack him.
But so you don't do anything though.
I'm just I'm just chilling up here.
So you just continue.
neutral
Is
party.
flight not a concentration spell?
I don't believe so.
I believe it is, and I believe if you did cast that, your coins actually fell.
Potentially, yeah. Yep. Question is, I wouldn't fly. Yeah. I'm not gonna sacrifice a 5th level slot like that.
We're gonna just null your turn though. He still got the attack on you, but for the most part,
He didn't succeed at it.
no, he didn't succeed. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So, but it's your turn. You're still standing in front of him in this nest of coins.
Yep.
I'm gonna say you took like a 5-foot step back or something. Like,
You just moved out of the way.
yeah, he still attacked you. You just didn't fly away. He's
Yeah.
still got him looking around because the coins started to swarm him.
Yeah.
We're retconning this because sometimes spells can be funky. It's hard to remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
But what do you do this turn? Again,
So
you just,
this turn, I am going to instead I will use a Misty Step and go 30 feet behind him. Make him run.
so you kind of go towards this direction, towards his father.
Yep.
You pop up around here, maybe 10 feet away from the man on the horse. And the son who's heard his father kind of watches you go, and he's just standing there as make your attacks with the coins.
Yeah.
And again, immediately anything under 10, move to the side. I'll let you know if anything else hits.
Dude, oh, that's a 15. So this mat is not reliable.
Another one.
When you roll 10 dice, it's what? Not that hard of a chance to hit a 1.
These all are over 10.
Okay, and they have a +8 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 12, 12, 12, 12, 15, 15. Sorry, 15, 12, 12, 17.
No, they all hit.
Yeah.
So
This one's in. No, it's.
no. He has an AC of
9.
20. So you had to hit 12 to hit him.
Okay.
So yeah, 7 of them.
All right.
So that's 7d4 plus
I need one more.
7 times 4 is 28. This spell can be crazy.
It is. It's just.
It's only a 5th level, and most people don't even know it exists.
Have fun.
That's a 4. That's a 7. That's a 10.
It's a little
12,
dice.
15.
What?
That is 20 plus 28, so that is 48 damage.
Okay.
And as these coins tear and rip at the leather joints of his armor, these coins slowly become a whirlwind of red and gold. And unfortunately, at the end of it, he's still standing in
Barely.
the center.
Yeah.
Barely. And he's coughing. And he looks, and as a last desperate act, he rushes you again to make 2 attacks on you.
Okay.
And a 29 will hit.
All right. Wait a second.
It's only a +5 for shields, so.
It's true. Yeah.
And a 20 will not. But he does get you with another 12 points of damage.
All right.
As he swings
12
wildly at you.
points?
Yep. As he swings and just coughs and sputters in your face.
Well, I bet.
And then it's your turn.
All right.
And he's looking haggard.
I am going to just attack him myself.
I believe you have 2 attacks.
Yep. Nope.
That does not hit.
That doesn't. No, that doesn't either.
Yep, so he's flailing. You kind of start flailing.
Yeah.
The coins move. He's roaring. They don't get an attack yet. He attacks. 23.
23 hits my AC, so I'm gonna cast shield and.
So it
Deflect
looks
it.
like it's going to be a narrow hit, ends up bouncing off the energy that is your shield. Mark it off as a spell you've used. And you lose your action. And at this point,
Don't forget, you got inspiration.
And
What does
he-
it do again?
you roll the d10 and you can add that. But
Okay.
the moment has passed at the moment. But yeah, and now 10 coins. Which this is the...
They
This
last
is
a
their
minute.
6th round,
Yeah.
right? So they're still around for 4 more rounds, but
13.
just let me know how many hit.
Yeah.
I believe 2 miss.
Yeah. 2 miss. So you've got 8 attacks. Yeah.
So yeah, so as he manages to lift his sword, kind of bat away 2 of them, the rest of them swarm, and it is a sickening sound that you, sadly in the party, have heard more than once.
Do I even need to bother rolling?
No.
Yeah. No.
If you would like to, you may.
It
is.
It's already 28 extra
It's
damage.
8.
Or
Yeah,
not,
no, it's
no,
8
it's-
d4 plus
How much is that? Yeah.
8 times 7. No, 8 times 4. But that's 32.
Yeah. No. That's He's gone.
Yeah, no, it's
Take that
the
back.
coins don't understand when somebody is dead.
That's not mine.
The coins don't understand when somebody is dead, and so even as he falls limpless, the coins continue to tear and rip at the flesh and sinew, each one making their attack. The exposed skin around his face and neck are destroyed,
Should be a black D10.
and the coins, after their onslaught, just float in a soft, rhythmic circle above him.
Yeah.
His own blood dripping down onto
Yeah.
his body. And there's silence. Except for the whimpering of his cold, lifeless body. No,
Wow.
and it's Faust who breaks the silence first that goes, took you long enough. And then this sudden just angry sound. The horse and the riders are clashing to go forward. Suddenly the goblins are all up, rushing towards the sides with the horses. And there's just this no one attacks, but it's all anger and fury and pride and excitement, and there's something that's raucous. You just pull it out.
I pull it out and I wait for a couple seconds. If
So-
it does not, if nobody does anything,
So as he goes, the older man yells, he's silent, and that only affects the horsemen. The goblins are still going
Do you want to
not so.
just enunciate as or well, not enunciate. Whatever. Just do the thing you wanted to do. I know what you're gonna do.
I will tap it.
Yeah.
on the
Make a
back.
big noise.
Cling.
Like.
And this gets the attention of some of the goblins. Some of them understand. A few others that were more well trained amongst some of you have already kind of battered down. But let's be honest, some of your barbarians are still.
Those would be the ones that I'm shooting daggers at.
And do you do it a second time? Because
Don't
as it
kill
goes,
them.
as it kind of goes down, there's only a few goblin voices left, but you recognize basically all of them.
I'll walk over to them, and bring it down near them. If
If-
they don't stop,
And by the third one, because each one, as soon as you kind of bring it to them, they kind of go, oh, and stop. But the third one, the last couple are smart enough.
Yeah.
And once everything finally silences and settles down, there's some uneasy horse movements. There's some mumbling and muttering of the goblins because, of course, they can't be silent for too long. Faust is sat down in the grass and is waiting.
Yeah.
And the older gentleman goes, "The new king would have said that trial by combat means nothing, but these are the ancient rules of my lands. You have won your freedom, and thus you go." And he simply turns and marches off with both horses and leaves. The horses slowly, hesitantly, the riders follow in twos, and the circle fades. And the last two riders get off. Your coins during this time have fallen.
Yeah.
And the one kind of like pokes them away from the body, and they hook them over the horses, and unless you stop them.
Yeah.
And Faust doesn't. Faust continues to kind of sit in the grass. And they then catch up,
Yeah.
and they just ride away.
That was fun. Yeah.
Doblin immediately, in front of all the goblins, goes, "The middle one has fought for our freedom!" And basically starts the whole Braveheart speech. It's a whole thing. The goblins start going up in arms again.
Just got them quiet.
Doblin doesn't care, and they start celebrating. It takes some of you, whoever decides to do it, about an hour to settle them back down, getting them into formation. You don't care. You are probably going to try to get yours under control
Well,
at
at least
least.
get mine under
Anna,
Yeah.
Taylor, and I'm assuming, do you try, or do you let them celebrate?
I let them do whatever they
You
want
let them
to.
celebrate.
I'm gonna go get healing from Faust.
Faust is just sitting on the grass. As you approach him, so does one of the goblins. It's the goblin that you actually have come to know as the one he calls Scar,
Yeah.
the really jacked
Yep.
up one. And the goblin comes over, and then as you kind of come over, he takes a step back. And Faust goes, "You actually let him hit you?"
I can take a hit. It's either waste spells or take a hit.
Or you can be more efficient. And you're going to take 22 back. And what does that put you at?
It's almost back to full health.
Then he doesn't give you another one. He just kind of pops you with that one.
Yeah. Let me see. Is it 22?
Yep. And then he looks over to Scar, and you see the goblin go, "Shall we take it in the revelry?" And he's like, "You have a couple minutes, then get him in line." And he's like, "Yes." And he just walks away. Oh. Potential technical difficulties.
No.
Oh no, it's fine.
No, we're good.
Oh,
Keep going.
I guess I'll keep going then. One level.
We're fine.
I'm gonna go alongside Faust.
He was just sitting in the grass until you guys kind of get your goblins going.
Yeah. But yeah.
He handed you his bow. Takes it back. He goes, I actually kind of liked this country when it was more like people like him.
Yeah. He seemed like a pretty cool guy.
I killed his grandfather.
Well, at least it's
And
fair.
his son now.
I think that was his grandson.
He's the only generation of his family untouched by.
I think that was his grandson, actually. I remember his son, who's blonde.
So, now that we've got our freedom to walk around.
Freedom to leave. We should do just that.
Yeah.
And then
Not a
Faust
freedom to frolic in the grass of his land.
He goes,
More like defecate in it.
Yeah.
Not that.
I'm pretty sure my goblins already did that.
Potentially. Like I said,
I mean, he
Probably.
surrounded us with 53 goblins, with 53 horses. What do you expect the goblins to do at that point? Pretty sure they all peed their pants a little bit.
Do they have pants?
Mine do.
I mean,
Huh.
they had their rags, and some of them have been better clothed.
Yeah, I would have.
And a lot of them have been armored.
Yeah.
The 50 whatever that are the 40 whatever that are remaining of the trained ones you had are armored. But and so with that detour and show of force
Yeah.
that has
Been had.
been had. It takes you a little bit to get the goblins, but once you do, you start marching. And for the rest of this day, the next night, and the next day, as you march, no one disturbs you. No one seems to travel this road except for when he's checking to see if people are trying to flee. And he isn't. He didn't come back. And apparently none of the riders were brave enough to try to come seek
I would get
vengeance
revenge.
themselves.
I scared one of them. That's for sure.
What did you say?
I said I scared one of them. That's for sure.
It's true. The coin scared a lot of them.
Oh yeah, Faust.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of them.
There's a special intimidation for Faust killing the man before he got to do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Leaving the weapon in his neck too. That's just brutal. Oh, it's beautiful though.
That's messed up, man. So,
Faust doesn't particularly like melee weapons.
during the next
So
few
like,
days,
it's good at his job.
So the next few days,
I'd just like to talk to some of the characters.
please do. This is a great time if any of you, because I will say though, as you end the second day, just before you get to the top, you start feeling a very hot wind start to blow from the east, which some of you know from the geography that you've been told and seen the maps of. The border that separates Lechia from either the Baranon or the Rada, and besides the mountainous region that is near impassable, is a desert. And that hot wind is telling you you're starting to get close.
And I'm just keeping my armor off. But
I will say, by the second day, you're finding it harder to sleep.
yeah,
Sunburns. This is a kind of sun you're not used to. You're used to the more northern sun. Not as hot, not quite as radiated.
can we do anything about this?
Faust goes, yes.
I
And
fail
then
again
does
at trying to
nothing.
talk to my goblins.
Aww.
What?
I said I fail again at trying to talk to my goblins.
Cheers. Okay. But Karen, you had some things you wanted to talk about. Kevin, if there's anything you want to talk about, think about who you might want to talk to.
Mostly it's just. I know we had said it before, but talking with
Anna Faust Taylor.
Anna, mostly.
Yes, she will approach you as well to also get some more magic lessons.
Yep. And during that time, it's mostly magic lessons.
Mm. Nice.
In view of all of you,
That might also be a mistake.
It's a desert. There's not much place to go. Like,
You're not in the desert yet. This is still while you're traveling across the grass.
okay.
The desert's still another day or so out. It's just the air is starting to. You have managed to keep the sun off your skin. You haven't been sunburnt. But,
It is
Oh
hot,
man,
yeah.
you've learned the dangers that when you start to sweat, what baking feels like.
Yeah.
And you've realized that during the hottest parts of the day, especially if you sweat too much, you do have to at least take your helmet off. Otherwise, it does start to
Yeah.
bake you. You're learning some things about the heat that you're not a particular fan of.
Yeah.
so
I have my goblins marked next to Faust, though.
And you can have a conversation with Faust if you would like.
I also try to find the thinnest clothes I can. Wear them now.
You are from the Strand, and
It's thick clothes, I know.
You have not once. Actually, no. You have your special fancy clothes. If you would like to march in your fancy clothes, those are the lightest clothes you have.
There you
Yup.
go.
I'm doing that.
Because in this country, fancy is cotton because it breathes, and it is.
Cotton breathes.
And yeah, so you are in currently full like noble regalia, marching next to these goblins.
Probably not the full regalia. It's
Okay,
just
no
bits
sashes or
and, just bits and pieces.
yeah. Okay, but you want to talk to Anna? Was there anything specific you want to talk to her about?
I was just gonna ask her about like her past.
Oh, gotcha.
And also
Um,
go into a little bit of mine.
Right, which we went to that off stream. If there's ever a question about it, you can bring it up, and we will have potential more detailed backstories later. But for now, Anna will go through. You already know some of this, so again, for the sake of, we'll have more detailed ones later. She will talk about how she doesn't remember much of her actual family. She is technically the head of the Ventalis household. She is next in line, although she is assumed dead. So
Mhm.
currently someone else is the head. After her parents were killed in the blade, she had traveled with the survivors from that settlement until one of them sold out the whole group, and they were sold into slavery, where she was taken, and she found out later to the southeastern part of the Glitton, where a family had bought her as a playmate slash potential plaything, but she was still very young, and he was still very young. By the time she started understanding what this meant, she has began already learning how to lockpick and things like this. She managed to steal several handfuls of gold over time there, broke out one day, and fled as far as she could westward until she found a boat that was leaving the docks and stowed away. Since then, she had been sailing the seas with different ship captains, trying to be less of a stowaway and more of an actual crewmate. She grew up on the seas, fighting pirates and smuggling, because most of the more honest captains didn't need someone like her, honestly. Someone who could fight and someone who could steal like she could. She had found her way up to the Strand, where her captain, not when she had joined one of the more honorable captains, had since let her go after realizing that her penchant for starting gambling rings below deck. And then that's where she says she found you. She had just been taken on as another minor. She'd been taken on as it was a minor boat that went between the islands of the Strand, and was only just for like the first time in months heading back towards mainland. And she saw her opportunity after she had won the gambling, especially since you guys threw money into the pot. Since she was able to buy her freedom away from that, and that's when you guys found her.
Yep.
So.
And the other question I'll ask during probably later on. So, what did he show you? Offer.
He offered me the second chance that my parents didn't. That's the simplest way to put it. And he offered me a few other things, more threatened that other things potentially would happen if I didn't come back.
Seems powerless.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like,
Knowingly so.
yeah. And then in both your heads, you hear, "I'm never wrong. You guys just never seem to see my truth." And that kind of seems to deaden the conversation pretty quickly.
Crap, forget he hears.
Don't whisper, you weirdos.
What?
You whisper, me or him?
Both.
Yeah. I just say, crap, you can hear us.
Right. and he had
Forget that he can hear us. That's what
yeah
it
he
was.
had interrupted their conversation to reply, I never lie. You just all refuse to see my truth. If you didn't catch that the first time. But the conversation kind of dies at that point, and Anna tries to stay away from that topic for the time being.
Oh, of course.
Although she does, of course, for the most part, still chat with you, try to learn magic. You
Yep.
end up telling her part of your backstory, which we've kind of already done. This is more of a recap of what's already been said. Does anyone else? You said you pulled up next to Faust.
Yeah, mostly just walking next to him.
Just walking next to him. All right. And then Kevin is there.
Just creeping.
Just creeping. Silence speaks volumes in Faust's case, so. Yep, I was gonna say, it looks like she's trying to eat your beard. It is high. Is there anything you wanted to do, Kevin? Or anything?
I'm gonna try to find a way to cool down my armor. Prestidigitate's always a good one.
Prestidigitate. Technically,
Water.
what does exist, if you want to look it up, Wizard of the Coast basically did come out with a thing that basically said every spell has an inverse. Do you know the spell Heat Metal?
Yeah, I don't know the spell itself, but no, there was a Endure Elements as well.
There was.
In 3.5,
3.5. You know of ways. Prestidigitation can basically create. You can create basically so your armor can breathe more,
Yeah.
but it is a permanent addition until you otherwise change it back.
I mean, realistically, I can chill it for an hour at a time.
Yeah, and that's probably what you should probably be doing.
Yeah.
So, it's still not the most helpful. It just makes sure that you can wear it.
Yeah.
Or maybe during one of the marshes.
Is that a cantrip or is that a?
It's a cantrip.
Okay.
How are you staying so cool? Oh, actually, no. Sorry. What I would ask is, are you baking in there?
Close to it. But I'll manage.
Which even as chilled, it's still
Yeah. No, I know it's not great, but
it's livable.
I take my helmet off and show them that I'm not sunburned. Better than you though. Put it back on.
That's true. That's why I'm wearing this. Hopefully you have a couple of those prestidigities.
You do too, I think.
Do I?
You
I
have
don't
can-
know your spell list.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't know how to do that.
That
You're a
blows.
bard without prestidigitate. Oof. Speaking of, you realize that Anna also has learned this trick from watching Kevin.
Yeah.
Because you have taught her one of the spells she found out she did have, and she's been watching you, seeing that you're managing what you're doing, and kind of tests it out and goes, "Oh, that's useful." But yeah, it's fine. All right, but yeah. So on the third day, as you guys have just kind of marched, I will say it's a noticeable thing. So you see it by the third day. Taylor has taken to him and his group of goblins have fallen behind. Not far. He's still basically in march, but instead of being twos, there's basically 2, 2, 1, 1 now. Your group, of course, leads. You said you're marching next to Faust, so you're at the 2 middle. Yours is probably up next to Kevin's, and Anna's is the one in the back, but she's up front. She tends to just let them march because she taught them how to march.
Fair enough.
So Taylor has fallen back and is actually far away from any of you. Mostly, none of you seem to care. So,
I go to Anna.
this is on the third day. So the desert's actually in sight, by the way.
Yep. I just say to her, I'm like, you realize I'm probably gonna need you for that whole thing with the kid too, right?
Not interested. Thanks.
You and Karen make a good couple, and so if you look like a stable couple of people, then I will be more likely to be able to get a kid.
She'll walk away.
Like, don't walk away from me. I follow her.
You follow her. She goes, I'm not sure I want
Just
to.
keep an open mind here, Anna.
I'm not ready for that kind
You're not
of...
ready to just... What? For what?
I don't think I should be
It's
partying.
not like you're having a kid with the guy.
What are you implying? I am very confused now.
I told you what I wanted to do.
Wow.
No, you didn't. Faust.
Yes, I did. I said I wanted to adopt a kid.
Did you? I don't remember. Okay.
I told you that.
Sure.
And so-
whatever. I'm sure you can adopt a kid. If you need, what is it, character witnesses? Sure.
Right.
I guess. Whatever. We'll figure that out when it comes to it. I'm sure that realistically you could probably just pick up one of the orphans that Faust makes at some point.
Well, any of us, really. I mean, Faust is more likely to make one, but
Try not to think about that.
except for other people.
Faust is a little hard not to think about in that particular kind of killing way.
Fair.
Wow.
Then I drop back and I go to Taylor.
You drop.
I drop way back. and
You
go to
drop
Taylor.
way back. Okay. Taylor seems to be okay in the heat, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you approach.
Yeah.
It's a sweat, but it's the sweat of walking. It's not the sweat of the heat. Which kind of irks you a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Oh well. I mean, it's just another thing.
right.
I'm just like, we'll never have to talk about what happened back there. But I just think that we don't have to hate each other anymore.
She kind of looks at you and just goes, right. Because that's the normal thing you do.
I guess, yeah.
Is you don't talk about something, you move on,
Yep.
and you don't hate the people that you don't hate, or shouldn't hate.
Something like that. I'm not good at this whole thing.
You'd hear a pin drop. And you can obviously tell that something's going on,
Yeah.
but
But that's all I say, and then I'm like, alright.
and you move back forward.
Yep.
All right. So
Then I just walk up to next to Faust again.
Alright.
Silently.
and Faust doesn't say anything back. Yep.
Nope.
All right. And so, it's at the end of this fourth day of travel at this point, however many. I think it takes about 4 for you to get to the edge of the desert as the sun is setting. And this is something many of you have never seen before. Kralik, Carradine,
Have I heard about it though?
heard? Yes. Everyone's heard about deserts. It's just, you roll me a percentile.
Like, I've never seen one of these in my life before.
74.
Of course not.
So yeah, no,
I said I've never seen
the
one of
the
these. Yeah.
the three of you, because yeah, even you've seen savannah, you've seen jungle, you've seen ocean, but yeah, you come to this and it's all of a sudden an ocean of sand, where like the dunes themselves seem to wave, and it's nothing any of the three of you and all of the goblins look at it and go. And like some of them are like going up and like poking as the grains because like the ground has become very arid and cracked, but these fine grains that have blown out here and are scattered amongst this arid ground, they're like picking it up and they're like, and it like blows into one of their eyes. And they're like, ah! Like the rest of the goblins are like, oh, and they're like frightened away from it.
Carradine, can you tell us a story about deserts that you've heard?
Let me rack my brain.
Roll a
I'm thinking, Mr.
Mhm.
Sandman,
add your charisma plus proficiency.
give me a dream. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, there's not really a roll for this. I'm just. But yeah, so charisma plus proficiency.
Alright. Charisma proficiency?
Yeah. That's charisma because your stories aren't going to be based on your intellect. They're going to be based on what you've heard. So I mean, you've heard plenty of stories. Basically, heard the equivalent to like things like Aladdin with magic and genies. You know, 101 Arabian Nights equivalent, and then plenty of just smugglers, and you've heard of camels, these mythical creatures with humps.
That really like Wednesday.
And there's you and honestly, with that kind of role, given all these other stories, you can make one up and it'd be believable.
Well, there was this one time where there were these 4 adventurers who wandered into the wastes, and they were looking for an old nomad, an old hermit. That's what it was. They were looking for yogurt, and instead, they failed in their journey, and they were incapacitated. And they were found by these small dwarves. Smaller than dwarves. They were more like halflings.
Were they dinky?
They had a peculiar song.
If you want to hear the rest of this story, watch Spaceballs. But moving on,
Did they comb the desert?
No, that was the bad guys.
he begins regaling you with the story of Spaceballs. At least that section of it. But at a certain point, you're all just standing at the edge of the desert, and Faust goes, and he's still talking, and slowly you see the goblins kind of going away, and you guys are talking. By the time you guys finish talking, the goblins have set up some makeshift tents, there's a fire going, Faust seems to already have gone to sleep, or trance.
You know,
And,
I find water at some point.
Well, you did happen to find, there was lots of good areas before this. It's just the mountain actually generates the reason the grassland back there is so nice, despite the arid climate, is a river does come down that you crossed not too long ago.
We have
I'm
how many divine casters?
yeah, and also that.
That too. But you know, it's more like
Also,
tepid tap water.
actually,
It's
not
water.
many.
What?
Not many divine spellcasters.
No, we don't.
We have a lot of arcane.
Yeah, because we've got Fausts.
Mm-hmm.
We've got
Taylor.
Taylors.
Water is not an issue either way, though, for us.
No. Faust can create a river for the most part if you
And I
feel
can
like
make it taste like wine if I wanted to. So
Does it have the effects of wine?
no.
Oh, okay.
Just tastes
I was just curious. I was gonna wonder if you're gonna throw a party and get 100-something goblins drunk.
like.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be a horrid idea. Horrible. Like,
Well, yeah, especially when you've got.
I mean, they have nowhere else to
It
go.
wouldn't be the worst idea with the goblins.
They'd probably be the
That is
most.
very true.
But
We'd lose some of them in the sand.
yeah, you it's a very quiet night for the most part. I want everyone to roll a percentile.
Everyone rolls.
Everyone.
15.
37.
I do forget to grab. Where are my percentiles at?
What was that?
15?
15,
37.
37,
22.
22. Kralik,
Yeah.
Carradine, and Anna. After the night, when you're all getting up, starting the march the next morning, as you guys gather up your goblins in the normal, like, doing the head count so that none of them have done something stupid, each one of you, one of your goblins, doesn't rise. And it appears
Autopsy time.
it's not hard to find. There's a very swollen patch on each of them,
Ugh.
and it appears like a snake's had come from the desert. And 3 of the goblins, and we'll find out what kind of goblins later. It'll be the non-trained ones because they're not weak enough to die to a single snake bite. But yeah, you each do lose one of your newer goblins. So
18 in a medicine check to see like if, like, can I tell like what kind of snake it
desert
was?
asp.
Gotcha.
Oh boy. Well,
You know it's a very dangerous snake.
Yep. We got a deadly snake. Do we know anything about?
Does anyone want to roll a nature check?
Yeah.
Can I roll a
Nature.
specialized bard check?
Nope. I'll give you
16.
yeah. Even what if I give you anything?
Yeah.
16.
16. You know enough to know of the desert asp and know that its poison can kill if certain creatures.
They
very
attack at
quickly.
night.
You do know they attack at night. It's Faust who gives you a little bit more information.
Like, do you know how to fight these things, man?
Don't sleep on the ground. They don't like fire. We should keep fires at the edge of the camp. We won't be stealthy, but we'll keep most of the nocturnal creatures. Or we just leave goblins at the edge of camp and then everyone else is fine.
That's.
Realistically, just make sure the tents, we have to inspect them, make sure the goblins don't screw up and actually leave giant holes in these tents. And it's basically the basics of desert survival.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb. Yeah, so the dawn starts, and with the death of these 3 goblins, you suddenly realize you're about to march into a desert. The road is gone. Roll a d20 for me. 10?
5.
5.
sorry. Should have been that.
Yeah. So it's not great. You don't remember how many stories you heard about this desert. Faust has never crossed it. He says you came in here to hide. Plenty of smugglers, mercenaries, killers, thieves, exiles use this desert. It is a lawless place in between 3 countries.
Sweet.
It's also one where monsters dwell. You would guess it would take days. Faust doesn't have any way of narrowing it down. It's like it'll take days. He does know the Baranon is further than Rada would be. The desert is long. Rada has actually taken up part of the desert as their own in their border, versus the Baranon has basically left the desert to be the desert.
How long should we be able to expect to travel without any confrontation?
10 minutes. It's like, who knows?
Who
Like,
knows,
there
okay.
could be. We have a whole army of goblins.
That's fair.
The truth is, unless someone wants a fight, they're not going to look for it with us.
Since we are having an issue with night watch, do we want to take shifts sleeping while traveling?
How would we travel with the sleepers?
Do we have any cloth and rope that we can make a sled with? Just
That'd
drag.
be really weird.
It'd be weird, but it's soft enough on the ground.
It is, and there's enough, but what's your intelligence?
16.
You know that that's the material you've been using to make the tents. If you're using them as sleds, you're just going to deteriorate the tents. And so night by night, you'll slowly lose shelter.
Fair enough.
You do have materials for it, but unfortunately, you don't have enough for both.
Yeah.
Fosco's, I mean, we can just take longer rests, do shifts longer.
Can you sleep while riding a horse?
I don't think so.
Unless it's getting led by somebody.
Not in this heat.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in a nice, cool fall day, but
Yeah.
it's like, I don't tend to worry about heat or cold much. It's hot here.
It is.
Meanwhile, you're all just standing again on the edge of the desert. You've yet to move forward.
Right, let's just go in.
All right.
Yeah. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
And as you begin the march, I'm assuming most of you again in the front leading the way.
I'm like, oh, wait, but are we going to Baranon or Rada? Looks like I wanted to go to Rada, but if it's really gonna be
It's closer. Rada.
no, I mean Baranon.
Does she have a
Doesn't
dice in her mouth?
No,
No, she's
Oh.
just trying to.
Jeez. Dice are as big as your head. Don't eat them. You want to go to the Baranon?
I mean, really, what's gonna be there?
Dwarves and cool stuff. But I mean, we don't have to go. It's
You
not
and
somewhere-
cool stuff. This is Faust.
yeah.
Don't mix well. Speak up.
Apparently.
You and cool stuff do not mix well. Last time,
We mix well,
no. Last time, we got in with the Thieves Guild.
and we got some awesome stuff out of it.
Right, we got threatened and also burned down the house.
And I made us a little bit richer.
Congrats. I'm not looking for that in the land of the dwarves.
We don't need to do that in the land of the dwarves.
We don't need to do that at all.
Well, we kind of
What do I know about dwarves?
What do you know about dwarves?
Yeah.
Roll. I'll give you a history with advantage.
History
do.
with
They're me, but white.
14.
They're the same height as them.
You know that the dwarves alone, when Shavan Shell had created their entire empire that nearly spanned the world, they alone were able to hold a line that stopped them from conquering the rest. And that's with them using the armies of the humans and the things to try to march, and these dwarves held in this desert.
Yeah, I don't think we should really mess with them.
I don't want to mess with them.
Us going somewhere usually means somebody's getting messed with.
I want to learn more about
About their sewer systems?
that. Yes. Of course, about their sewer systems.
And
I mean, we don't have to do that now. I guess I can.
I will speak. This is Anna. Anna's like, I know one thing about dwarves. They don't like goblins.
No, yeah, and I figured that would be the main thing of not. But no one in these areas like goblins.
As far as I understand, Rada doesn't care. It's Faust who said it this time. Rada, as long as you can hold a sword, they'll let you in. Heck,
Fine.
that goblin I saw in Lechia might have actually come from Rada. For
One
all
of
we
these
know.
days, I'm going there though.
Yeah, sure. We'll go kill some dwarves.
fine.
All right.
It was what. Let's go see if the Rada will even let us in.
Yeah. Do you know anything about like getting into Rada?
I know that most merchants don't get let in.
Hey, Mr. Guy who seems to just know everything about history.
Roll a random history to see if you know anything about Rada.
18.
Okay.
I apparently know about Rada.
You've heard stories.
All the stories.
It's the land of pit fights, basically, is the easiest way to describe it.
You'll love it there.
It is near lawless. There is a law of sorts, but it's kind of the rule of might is right. In any everyday type of situation, unless they try to get the people that are in charge involved, whoever has the stronger sword arm wins.
Specifically, getting in though is what I was asking.
Well, I think we have the
We
the
can.
right.
Well,
Getting in, the only thing you know about is that they accept wanted killers, mercenaries, exiles. The only people you've heard that they don't accept, traitors, and they seem to have a real penchant to not take merchants.
Traders or traitors?
Both.
Okay.
They seem to have a thing against traitors, as in with the T, traitors, whatever, and they have a thing against anybody they consider soft. You march in with just, I have goods to sell, and they're more likely to steal it, strip you, and send you into the desert alone.
Yeah.
That's a very common story that you've all heard. That's the story of Rada.
Well,
Do they track their who's in this town? Like, do they?
You don't know.
Right. We don't know if we have to like pay to get in or anything like
And
that.
then I go, I think, flourish to our goblin army. I think we're fine.
Okay.
That's
I wasn't sure
debatable.
if we just had to like pay to get in or anything like that.
They'll pay with blood. Right?
From what you gather, payment isn't something monetary for this particular country.
If not, we can always make a door.
Exactly.
So we don't want to mess with the Baronon, but we don't mind messing with Rada.
Faust kind of speaking, realistically, probably shouldn't mess with either if we want to actually exist in the Blade with any kind of level of. I mean, let's be honest. How many gods have we ticked off?
At least 2.
One too many.
If we can keep our enemies to a minimum, helpful.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I
I'm on
would-
board with not messing with them. Just saying, making a door probably isn't another option.
Again, we'll cross the bridge when we get there. Either way, if we're gonna go to the Baronon or Rada, Rada's closer.
Let's go
We
to
can
Rada.
Go to the Baronon afterwards if needed.
Yeah.
All right. It's gonna be several days travel. I'm gonna want 2 people, because you're a group of 6, to make a perception each day. You can pick which day you would like to be a part of that.
So
I'll do the second day.
You'll be in the second.
I've sort of figured out a
I gotta
system.
use the bathroom.
Yeah. So
Like,
just
we'll talk about it later. Right now, just we're going
Yeah.
to talk about this. But I'm curious. But for now, what day would you like to roll a perception on?
so there's how many days?
There's 6 days. There's 3 days. There's 6 of you.
Fourth day.
What?
Fourth day.
3 days.
3 days. All right.
Sorry.
Whatever.
3rd day.
Third day.
Which one do you
I'll say
want?
first.
First.
Day. Hi.
Okay. Anna will take the first with you. Taylor will take second with Kralik, and Faust will take third. But we, just so everyone knows, we will be wrapping up probably in about 40 to 45 minutes, depending on where story allows us. So we're going to try to see what we can get to. Roll a perception.
19. Holy cow.
Plus.
What?
Oh, right. 19. Okay. So you got 19 and Anna got a 20 with her ad. Yeah, first day, it's interesting. You both actually spot quite a bit. At one point when you first enter, you do see what appear to have been people who attempted to hide, who after seeing your group has since moved back to the shade of the mountain to the north end of the desert, where they seem to be bunking out or some kind of hideout. You do spot desert foxes and things like that who seem to be traveling looking for any of the potential other animals to hunt. And later on in the day, it's hard to tell because in the sand, which for all intents and purposes counts as rough terrain, movement is slowed. So did you get that?
I got movement is slow.
The desert, for all intents and purposes, count as rough terrain.
Okay.
Both of you,
Doesn't hinder me at all.
yeah, both of you
Or
later
first.
on in the day, it feels like the sand shifts a bit, but it's hard to tell. It's a very common thing that the goblins marching, the dunes are destroyed and rebuilding, and it's when the sand shifts slightly, it's hard to tell what the reason is.
Now here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are we able to train any of the new goblins?
While you're marching, you can, in the course of this week, not really, because you've been on a very fast pace. They are all level 1s right now.
I cannot talk to my goblins.
Your goblins are slowly becoming demoralized in the heat, and with you.
So, I mean, this is for my sake.
Yeah.
Totally pointless, just flavor.
Oh, what's up?
But Tensor's floating disc has a range of 30 feet.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have a target, technically. So can I designate someone else to be its point of following?
Yes. Just double check. I know in 3.5 it had a weight limit. I don't know in
It's a
5.
500-pound weight limit.
Nah, wow, they upped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit
I'm
on
gonna,
it and
I'm
ride
gonna
if you'd
ritual
like.
cast it, have someone be the target for it, and then right before it ends, I'm gonna prep to ritual cast again.
So you're
10 minutes
floating.
before.
Just sure. I'll let you have that. Go for it.
So it's just so I don't have to deal with walking in the desert in plate mail.
Yeah, and it's while he's demoralizing his goblins, you have raising the morale as they believe their savior is just floating across the desert.
There you go.
Yeah. And I mean, it does help with the sweat. You're hot, but it's not nearly as bad as.
And I guess
Some
while
of
I'm
the
doing that, if I'm
others.
doing nothing else, I'll bring up the Phantom Steed as well. Which
just
isn't-
what level spells are these?
Well, they're Tensors is 2.
All right.
Uh,
And Phantom Steed.
Actually, no. Tensors is 1st level.
Okay.
Phantom Steed is 3rd level. They're both ritual castable and non-concentratable.
You can't concentrate.
Non-concentrate.
Yeah, you just can't concentrate. But
Yeah.
then I'll just have a bunch of goblins on the Phantom Steed.
You might not have enough time to spend. You could probably put a couple on, but at a certain point, they are all marching.
Yeah.
And as I said, there's some people who are also in your party who are kind of struggling in the desert
True.
versus Faust and Krellick are fine.
It's a portable
Yeah.
pack mule.
Yeah, and that's actually good for all the things that you guys are carrying for these things. Like these, the Phantom Steed actually works really well as that.
Fair enough.
It actually does increase the speed once you actually take that. But okay, on the second day, it's you and no, I'm sorry, Krellick. You said you're taking the second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Roll your perception for me.
21.
21. You missed what I said earlier. It's first day. There's some cool stuff to see. Second day, sand. Lots of sand. The mountain is the only thing that lets you keep your bearing. Honestly, the mountains are very steep to the north, and it helps you keep your bearing to keep heading south. You see less animals as you're traveling. You see almost nothing as you're heading out.
Yeah.
Again, though, at some point during the day, middle of the day for you, as you're walking, it almost seems like the sand shifts beneath you in a different way than like before. It's hard to tell why, but as you're walking, it just feels like suddenly one of your feet moved, despite it being planted a second prior. But when you look down, it's just sand. It just looks like you lost your footing.
Anything I can do, like investigation on that, or I mean, I'm just keeping
Sure,
moving.
you can make an investigation. Like, you can take a moment to stop and look.
22.
Okay. Directly under your feet, nothing. But when you're kind of looking around, you kind of go, wait. Because you'd look to the north to see the mountains, and you just swore
Oh,
just off to the north quite a bit.
gosh dang it.
Like, the dunes are different now. And it seems to have been like some kind of effect that you barely just got the edge of. Something moved in the sand. Something large seems to have affected the dunes. Quite a bit off to the north.
Like, there's something. I'd say. There's something big out there. I don't know what.
Did you see it?
I saw something move under the sand.
You saw the after effects.
I saw the after effects of something moving under the sand, and it actually affected the dunes that are out there.
So, what large creature might be in
It's
can-
traveling underground.
If you have proficiency with nature, you can roll a check. You can roll as well. Because bards basically just...
the? Darn it, Devin!
13.
13. Do you have proficiency with nature?
No, but I'm gonna go fly up and get a vantage point.
Okay. 13. You don't really know about deserts.
Nope.
Uh,
Makes sense.
As far as you're aware, this seems weird. You start flying.
Because I explained what happened, like with my footing and all that stuff too.
Yeah. So you start flying. You said.
Yeah.
So you take off from tensors and just fly up. And you get this viewpoint. Making a perception.
16.
16. Out of the corner of your eyes, you're kind of scanning. You see what appears to be a dune, like dip.
Okay.
What was once a dune becomes a valley in between dunes. But then after that, you kind of see another one shift slightly. But then, whatever it is, seems to be either below or maybe not as big as what Kralik was saying. But there's
I'm gonna project the rest of what I see to the party.
okay, and with that projection, I'll let anyone with nature take one more roll. Now that they've seen how to affect. You unfortunately just don't know any stories about desert creatures.
20.
Oh well.
20. Okay. You know there are creatures big enough, and there are, and you know that Lechia kicked things out. You know there's giant mountains here. This could be anything from a dragon underneath ground. There are burrowing dragons. There are big creatures, purple worms. There are tunneling things like bullets. But none of that, you don't see a glimpse of it. You just know that, now that you see what it's doing, yeah, there are lots of burrowing monsters.
Like Faust, anything?
Faust kind of looks and goes, I see sand move. I need to see something.
Like,
I'll step.
let's carry on.
I'll step for as long as I can.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep an eye. I'm just
and
gonna keep. Yeah.
What happened was you had seen it. It seems to have been moving away to the north. And after 20, 30, it keeps going. After an hour, there's nothing.
Okay. Then I float back down on my disc.
Yep. On the third day, it'll be Kevin and Faust making a perception check.
$15.
15 and yeah. It's later in the day. During the day, Faust mentions that he sees something in the distance a little before you see it. He kind of just tells you all, like, I think we're getting there. And then it's not too long, about maybe another half hour before the shifting sands, you notice, wait, that heat mirage. Oh. And you're the first to kind of notice it before the rest of the group, what Faust was talking about, which is there appears to be this wall. It's not so much a wall as iron rods pivoted out against a charge, but some of them 10, 20 feet high, others 5 feet high, barbed, some of them having heads on pikes, and they have these iron bars going across them in different angles, each one barbed itself, so that if you try to hold it, it looks like it'll puncture and rip at flesh, and it just spreads across this desert as far as you can see in both directions, and every couple miles that you can see across this desert as you stand on this dune, there seems to be a solid piece. And it takes another hour before on top of this solid piece, the one directly in front of you, see a little umbrella. Seems to be propped up. And you realize this is more than likely, the border of the Rada.
Sounds good.
And all of its odd, gruesome glory.
Yeah.
It takes a bit longer before the rest of you who aren't as much keeping watch to notice it. But yeah, did you catch the description?
Not really. I heard iron bars.
Well, yeah, that's basically
Barbs on barbs.
iron bars with barbs covering them. It's a gruesome mesh of Some of it looks like even being bone is pierced on a piece of this. And there's a solid mass with what appears to be an umbrella on it.
That's a tad bit random.
What do you guys do? You seem to have reached the border.
There's someone propped up in the thing.
There looks like there's an umbrella.
Yep.
It seems that there might be someone underneath that, yeah.
Call up and like, we wish to travel through your country.
You're like 3 hours away.
We continue
Well,
on.
Yeah, then we continue on.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
asking.
thought you could.
I was
say
just
we're-
asking if you were moving a different direction. Like,
Oh
or do you
no,
like walk?
no, we're going. Yeah, we're going.
Then you go towards the wall.
Krolik's suffering a knee stroke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your mirage is
seriously.
gonna get you a little too close. You swear in your heat vision there's a half orc doing the mamba on top of that wall right now. But yeah, so as you approach, you do see there's a person sitting on what looks like a decrepit chair with an umbrella that has more than one hole in it. And he's just kind of chilling. And he's aware of you. And he doesn't say anything, he just slows as you slowly walk closer to him. And now do you speak up?
Yep. Hey, we wish to travel through your country.
Roll a persuasion.
Sweet. Love it.
7.
He goes, I wish to be named the King of the Oceans.
You got it. In my book.
Sand ocean or water ocean?
Water, I'm tired of looking at the sand. Who are ya?
Actually, we could. We could.
Shut up.
All right.
And he kind of stands and kind of looks out and goes, he just seems to be waiting.
Who are we?
Just a bunch of crazy people wandering through the desert, you know.
The Band of Chaos.
That's all right.
Alright,
That.
too many of you. Bring like 10 of you forward as leaders or something.
Goblins stay back.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So 6 come forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, I kind of should have figured that the goblins didn't have any actual power in this, but whatever. Alright, kind of scans you down. Who are you?
The Band of Chaos.
I heard you for already. Who are you? That's everyone but you.
I mean, as I said, we're just a bunch of idiots on our way. Traveling to the blade.
Wow, anyone smart enough to give me a name?
Kralik.
Hey.
Right? Points down the next person in line.
Kevin.
Next. Faust. Anna.
Carradine.
Taylor.
We're just trying to pass through.
Alright. Pass through. Wait. Don't pass through the Rada. Where are you trying to go?
Blade. Dun dun dun.
Alright, so you're all idiots then. Alright?
That's
Told
what
you.
we just said.
I now respect you slightly more. Alright, quick question. And kind of points to you first. How many men have you killed? Ignore monsters, they don't count.
Right. You want
Ballpark it.
yesterday?
Ballpark it.
It's a ballpark.
It's a nice sport we have here. You beat people with sticks.
40?
Points to you.
Huh.
Recently.
Over 100.
Yeah, I know. Recently.
Just give me your number. Armored. How are you alive? You don't. Just give me your number.
Say probably at least 150.
All right. Looks to you,
Low ball 150.
Taylor. 14.
No.
He actually
Yeah.
hasn't killed much.
He's burned like entire things
He burned
alive.
empty buildings.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, not churches. Churches filled with worshippers.
looks
It wasn't
yeah.
filled.
Ah.
Looks
Empty as
We
well.
killed every single member.
looks to, as you guys start bickering, he's like, all right, redhead. I was like, 30. And you, elf boy? 427.
Yeah.
There's a moment he goes, why do I believe that?
I mean, to be fair, he's an elf. Like, he's had time. If he hasn't
Yes.
killed a person, he's no.
That's a person a year
Were you
for
about to say,
him.
I was about to say, were you about to say he didn't kill anyone recently? Because he just killed someone very recently.
Yeah.
That's a person a year for him.
If he hasn't been killing a person a week, it's a problem.
Did you say that aloud?
No.
Well, I'm assuming, yeah, you guys are just bantering. He's just like, alright,
I mean, it makes sense.
what are your goblins?
I'm gonna just killed a band of people.
One for one, or...
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out numbers wise on top. They took out a whole mercenary company.
Alright. Oh, Bella,
Cut.
stay away from the water. And he just goes, alright,
Yeah, a couple more.
you passed the first test. You want entry, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Somebody's a little ignorant. How about this?
And he kind of comes over and like sits on the edge and looks down. He goes, you see this thing? He points between his legs, like downward.
I don't know.
He's pointing
How
at the
high up
wall.
are you?
I was gonna say, I need a magnifying glass.
He goes, alright, smartass. Do you see the giant door below me?
Uh-huh.
And what he's saying is a door. Realistically, you look at it and go, uh-huh, like, door.
If we're using the term loosely.
It's Rada, everything's loose.
Mm.
He goes, every door's locked. With a special key. Yes, you can try to kill me. No, that won't go well for you. Yes, you will die.
Is it buried somewhere in the desert?
No.
You just told us.
And he pulls it
We
out.
had
It's-
one.
It's right here. However, when we unlock a door, if we don't march you into town, everyone now has free reign and gets a reward for killing you. The entire Rada knows this. Simple as that. So, if you want to kill me, kill me. I'll see you in hell. Meanwhile, what you should be doing. How many of you are there? And he sitting there and goes, too many for me to care. Alright. You 6. You're the leaders? Said you kill a lot, right?
Mhm.
You guys look pretty well armed. I don't know what that thing is on your back. Looks kind of neat. I don't know why you're carrying giant scissors on your back, but sure.
Oh yeah, you have
My two great swords.
Yep.
one's bigger
One
than the other.
is gigantic.
Yes,
it's
it-
taller than me almost.
It's been leaving a line in the sand.
Yeah.
The heat lines that are probably coming off me. Like,
Yeah, it's a very interesting sight he's looking at. He
Yeah.
goes, alright,
yeah.
here's how this goes. I'm set. I'm going to tell you to go see somebody else. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to tell him, and he's going to point you in a direction. You go kill the thing that I tell you about, and you bring back its head, or whatever piece of it you feel like. I don't care. I'm not picky. We let you in. However, there's a lot of you. So it's more than just one thing.
Right.
Obviously.
So, we've been having an issue. We're used to having some worms out in the desert. 2 of them been starting mating, and that's been creating an issue.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Worm babies.
for you 6, bring me a head, 3 of you get in. Bring me both heads, all you in. You bring back some of the baby killing, I'll let your goblins in. Goblins will be well behaved though, because they steal nothing, they pick a fight, their life is forfeit if they don't have strong enough arm to defend themselves.
Right.
Of course.
We are not responsible for any deaths within our walls that you cause upon yourself by being stupid.
Got it.
He goes, alright. Our scout is about 2 hours down that wall. Ask for Crybaby. He'll point you to the worms. When you're done, come see me. And if you're alive, you'll come in. If you're dead, well, bye. Then he just gets up, turns around, and goes back to his seat.
Well, that's easy enough.
See you later. There we go.
If you're lucky.
Where are we going? We don't need luck.
I was going to say in 1 second. But, so, you kind of start marching your goblins along this iron wall. There's a good stretch between these two doors where some of these iron bars are big enough for probably some of the smaller members, like Faust potentially, or the goblins. But you can, Faust points out at one point and goes, maybe not. And he points out, and just enough for, once he points them out, they actually all start to stand. And there's several people in like a cloak that was hiding in the sand. And they start waving with their crossbows. And then they kind of lie back down.
Wow.
And it's like, they're a jovial bunch at least.
Sand people.
They walk in pairs, hide their numbers.
They're walking lines to hide their numbers.
That's what it is. But as you walk, you get to the next big wooden area where a guy's sitting up on it. And you come across the side. He kind of looks over.
Are you Crybaby?
No, you talk to Set. Keep going.
Okay.
You come to the next one. They kind of look over. He goes, you already got a job?
Yep. Looking for Crybaby.
Keep going.
Yep.
And it's about another hour.
Yep.
You've passed several and just keep.
And we keep saying it.
And you finally get to one, and you kind of say it.
You Crybaby?
Nah. And he points the other way.
Back.
He goes, call out into the desert. He's not on the platforms.
Ah. And then I turn around. Hey, Crybaby.
And you assume walk and just start doing this.
Yep.
After about 5 or so minutes, you hear a snicker, and then what sounds like a boot hitting somebody, and someone kind of comes out and goes, I hate that bloody nickname. What you want?
Where's he come from?
Just up from the desert.
Oh,
Just
cool.
seems to just spring up.
We talked to the guy.
Oh, he's on the other side of the iron bars.
Set.
We talked to Set.
A-hole.
No, he's a great guy. And so we're looking. We need to go to the purple worms. Kill some purple worms or worms.
Worms.
Worms. Yeah.
You're the one? Alright, he just walks through the iron gate, like he just kneels through and kind of goes out. He goes, alright, I'll show you where they are.
Cool.
I ain't gonna fight for you,
Nah.
but I'll be your witness, as they say.
Cool.
Who you see in front of you is a pretty young human. Blonde, shaggy hair, very tanned. Looks to be about maybe 17, but he's wielding more weapons than you saw most armed men, and he has this cloak that blends in very well with the desert.
Probably
and
makes it cool too.
he's like, all right, who's all coming? Because I ain't marching 100 of you out there. It's a good way just to get us killed.
Well, we're all coming. Or I guess we don't all have 6 of us. And then the goblins, I guess, don't have to come out.
You hear another voice. You may not want to take them, but they can't stay here. March them out into the desert. If they survive, they can come in, I guess.
So then all of us.
We'll leave him somewhere.
And he kind of calls over. It's just like, shut up! I don't want to go out there with all these heavy foots. Fine. It's about a day away.
Okay.
So
We'll take the goblins halfway, I figure, and then leave them. and
good.
then go.
Follow me. And it's like as you watch him start to walk, you kind of just gotta glance back to get everyone. And when you look back, and then you just kind of spot him. His whole he disappears into the dunes as soon as you take your eyes off of him,
Hey.
and he begins to lead you towards your test enter the Rado. And we will pick up with that test and your ability to fight some purple worms next time.
Yay.
Otherwise, this is going to be where we wrap it up. This was a pilot episode of Assorted Dice. We do not have a different name for this particular group, as you heard. If you enjoyed, let us know. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we will maybe see you next time. Bye.